Hey everyone, welcome back to my vinyl collection, and today we're talking about the band Mayday Parade. So this video is actually about their latest album, which is called Black Lines, and here it is here. At first I thought it was quite like a doll kind of cover. It's quite simple, and maybe that's what they were going for, and that's probably what they were going for. But it's like this kind of like an off-white, almost cream sort of coloured, rough paper kind of background kind of thing with 5 black lines. I'm not sure whether this is supposed to represent each member of the band or something. I'm not too sure, maybe not, I don't know, maybe it is. But yeah, at first I thought it was quite dull, but perhaps that's what they were trying to go for. Maybe they were letting the cover sort of tell quite a simple story, but allowing the actual music to sort of colour the album itself. As opposed to the other way around when they had really vibrant covers, because this time they don't have their large Mayday Parade logo. It's just that there's nothing that can tell you that it's Mayday Parade, unless you follow the band and know that this album's coming out, which is kind of clever, kind of not, but yeah, so it's not a bad cover. On the back is, again, it's quite simple. All it has is the track listing. It's a 12-song track list, again without any sign that is by Mayday Parade. It probably says on the side, yeah it does, but again, I mean, looking at it straight away you wouldn't really know. So let's take a look inside. So this is the inner sleeve, and I actually really like the design. I love it actually, because it's like very different to everything they've done before. It's kind of black and white in a way. You know, it's very monochrome. There's very few colours being used here. It's not, again, as vibrant as the past releases. And this one I like it because it's for the first time actually showing themselves in sort of the artwork in a way. Because in the past I don't think they've ever done it before. Maybe they have, but I don't think so. Usually it's kind of a very stylized image of someone or something. And this is cool because I like the fact that they've done the lyrics, which are typewritten or being printed out or whatever and ripped apart, and with all these sort of black lines kind of like correcting, censoring certain words. And I think that's a really effective way of portraying just how different and how much energy and how sort of powerful and emotional this album is. And it says it all in this sort of little design. And I'm surprised that this wasn't kind of the cover in a way, like, or at least an element of it. Also what I really like is the fact that Derek's one is actually the one used for the single One of Them Will Destroy the Other, which again is actually a phenomenal track, by the way. So yeah, so a fantastic inner design. The back's a bit boring, you know, it's just black and with a few sort of like bits of which aren't black, and then sort of the details, you know, the extra information that you get usually in every other album. There's no actual lyric sheet in this. In a way, this is the lyric sheet because these are actually the lyrics, and I like how each member has a certain lyric from a certain song on each of their faces, which I really like. I like how one of their eyes are exposed, and then, you know, just the way it's done is really cool, like a little mask kind of thing going on. So let's take a look at the vinyl. So I got this one from one of their pre-order bundles from Merch Now. And obviously I imported this one from the US, and I wanted to because it's a slightly more different version of the vinyl, because typically you get like vinyls which are black and they're usually the standard sort of format. But there was a UK version I could have bought, but that one was mostly black but had white bone splatter from the centre, so I felt like anything that's less black was less conventional. And again, I mean, I would have preferred if it was slightly translucent, if it had yeah, something that was less opaque. That would have been cooler, but I mean, I like this, it's pretty cool. So this album is actually very different to their previous releases. It's less pop-punky. I mean, it still has those elements, but it is less that kind of fun style of pop-punk that they had in their previous songs and previous albums. It's much darker, it's much grittier, it's much grungier, it's much more serious in a way and a lot darker. And I really like that, I like the change, and they were, yeah, again, making it very clear that they are trying to, in a way, evolve and move on from their previous stuff. And so song-wise, the opening track is just mind-blowing. I mean, as soon as they released that one, I was like, oh my god, is this even Mayday Parade? It is so cool. I mean, I love it because it kicks off so, like, it's so much energy, because I mean, you never really get a chance to hear Derek do sort of like shouty, screamy sort of vocals, which are much more raw sounding and more sort of energetic and powerful, as opposed to his more cleaner vocals in their previous songs. It is very different to their other opening tracks, you know, such as Oh Well, Oh Well, Jane Well Over, Kids in Love, Ghosts. It's very different overall, and I really loved it because it was so much more like just enraged and has that sense of ferocity that you don't get from many of the other songs in the past. And it had a featured vocal with Dan Abton from Real Friends, which was a really nice treat. And because I went back, I think it was a Twitter post or an Instagram post when they were saying something like, oh, they just recorded vocals with this guy, and so it's like, oh, what the hell? And then, oh my god, it is a really cool song, and yeah, it worked really well. His vocals were really sort of like in a sense in harmony, or you know, it works really well with Terry's vocals towards the end, and it's just a brilliant opening track, a very memorable one, and I'm worried that they can't top this one because it is one of my favourite songs by them. Another favourite song of mine from this album that stands out is Narrow, because it's the most closest thing you'd get to Terrible Things and Miserable at Best, I swear that's I mean it sort of songs, because it is the most mellow song, more mellow than the song Letting Go, which is the one they released as one of the singles. That was also a very good song, very sad song as well, but this one I felt like is in a way more emotional because it starts off very surprisingly quiet and gentle in a way, and then towards the end, from the bridge to the outro, it's just full of energy and so much sort of like anger is being released towards the end of the song, and yeah, it's one of my favourites. Another one could be, there's two actually which are very similar to me in terms of liking it. It's called Let's Be Honest and All On Me, both of which are very sort of, yeah, like I said before, grungier, grittier, darker, a much more sort of raw, organic kind of sound, and less, I guess, less produced in a way, because it's much more shouty, it's less clean as before. And yeah, I mean, especially one that I really like, obviously out of the two, is Let's Be Honest, because in the bridge, he does these sort of like soaring, screaming vocals towards the end, which I really love. I think if you know the song, you know what I'm talking about, which, I mean, that's a fantastic part of the song. A very well produced song in my opinion as well. And the last song on the album, One of Us, is actually also one of my favourites because it reminds me a lot of the song Welcome to the Black Parade by My Chemical Romance. It has that sort of like more fun, sort of everyone get together, sort of like enlightenment kind of feel towards the end of the album, which I think is a very nice touch, and it kind of, to me, it kind of deals with this idea of fearing that you're kind of alone and reminding that you're not alone in this and there's other people who are with you, and the song is a really good one which sort of like reminds you that this band will always be there for you when people are not, and that is quite special to me. I mean, that probably sounds very sentimental and a bit stupid, but I mean that's why I got this band, and they resonate to me more than anybody else, and they will always be my favourite band. And I'm glad they made this album, because it is very brave in my opinion. It's very bold, it's very confident even with the opening track, and there's a definite sense of confidence in this album, and I look forward to more of this. But even though I do miss their more pop-punky, emo, sort of fun, heartbreaking songs from the EP to like the Less Than Romantics, and I mean all those songs are really phenomenal as well in my opinion anyway. But yeah, so it's a fantastic album, and I highly recommend people check it out if you're more into the sort of grungier, darker kind of elements of bands that you like. And if you never listened to Mayday Parade before, then I think you definitely like this album in particular. And then listen sort of like backwards and to the older stuff, and you realise that you might actually appreciate it more and appreciate their change and their sort of evolution and maturity over the years. So that's that about Mayday Parade Black Lions. I hope you guys found this video informative in some way and maybe encourage you to check out this band if you haven't already, or if you do already, then buy the vinyl, or at least consider collecting vinyls, because they are quite cool things to own. And it feels like, again, like they say, you know, it never feels like you properly own the album until you have the vinyl, and that's what it feels like to me sometimes, especially with bands I really do like. But anyway, hope you guys check out the next part. I think it's part 6, the next one. I don't know when it's going to be out, and I don't know what it's going to be about. I don't really plan these videos, so yeah, sorry about that. But yeah, so thank you for watching the video. I hope to see you guys next time, so see ya!